This program was produced by and first broadcast on Radio Hawke's Bay, a community access media station. Thank you to New Zealand On Air for making this type of programming possible.
I'm a dreamer of 3D pictures. I'm a traveler of a different kind. I'm a builder, I'm a designer, I'm an actor.
Hi Radio Hawke's Bay listeners out there, it's Nikki Mountain here from Dyslexia Unpuzzled. I'm going to start again because I'm choking. Hi Radio Hawke's Bay listeners, it's Nikki Mountain here from Dyslexia Unpuzzled right here in Hawke's Bay. Welcome to our monthly podcast where we dive into incredible stories of transformation and triumph from members of our community. At Dyslexia Unpuzzled, we're passionate about supporting neurodiverse individuals and their families to overcome challenges, whether it's with learning, focus, or navigating life with neurodivergence. As always, we are broadcasting on Radio Hawke's Bay, 104.7 FM and 1431 AM. This month I'm thrilled to welcome Dr. David Edgar, an accomplished marathon swimmer and endurance athlete who is on a mission to conquer the Ocean 7 while raising awareness for dyslexia and raising funds for the Dyslexia Foundation of New Zealand. His latest challenge, swimming the Foveaux Strait on February the 7th. Welcome Dave, it's such a pleasure to have you here. That's quite an impressive goal you're aiming to achieve.
Good afternoon, Nikki. Yeah, hey, really great to be here. Really cool to be speaking around this topic and, sharing some of my thoughts and what I've gone through. And yeah, look, the challenge just all becomes part and parcel of it. And yes, she's a big one coming up, all right?
I'd agree. So can you start, please, this afternoon, Dave, by let's start hearing a bit about your story. What inspired you to pursue this incredible mission that you're doing?
I guess... Yeah, I mean, there's a few, it's twofold, it's sort of multi-layered in a way. I guess I'm someone that I'm 52 now, so I would say I suffered from dyslexia. Back in those days, you were never officially diagnosed, but there was something going on, and then, sort of looking at things in the diagnosis later in my life, 100%, that's what I had. So finding ways through that, the challenges I faced, and then, moving through life, it's made me pretty resilient, and I figured a lot of this out by myself. Always had high energy and this endurance, so I've sort of always used it as my strength. That's where I excelled in school, leaving school, and then did triathlon and representing New Zealand at 5 World Champs, triathlon, duathlon, and Ironman, Hawaii Ironman, and sort of Ironman was my game. That was my sport. The classic Ironman, the 3.8k swim, 180k cycle, 42k run. But unfortunately, with a bit of life in the military and different things we do, the knees weren't quite so willing after a while, and a few different operations. I couldn't run to the volume that I wanted, but by no means had I lost the endurance bug. So the swimming has just been, it's been fantastic. It's been another whole world where I can keep pushing myself as I sort of, age a bit. I've got to manage the shoulders and different things, but I find it's a way with the lower impact where I can just explore myself, explore the oceans, the lakes, the rivers, and now moving into this Dr. Dave Swims platform, I'm trying to share my message that what I've been through, it can actually become a strength rather than a hindrance, and I've sort of discovered this and worked this out sort of myself, really.
It sounds as if you've got plenty of energy to spare there, Dave, anyway, so... Gosh, you make me tired just listening to you with all your endurance effort. So how did you manage to navigate school? Because you've mentioned dyslexia, and obviously it was challenging for you, but you've managed to achieve a doctorate in spite of all that. How did that pan out for you?
Yeah, look, it was definitely a challenge, and I look back, I wouldn't say I look back fondly at school, but it wasn't a bad time. I guess people ask me about this, and, I wonder, and these are the things I've learned, where I always struggled in class. I was always the last to finish work. I'd always maybe just scrape through, but I'd be at the bottom of the maths class, the bottom of the writing class. My spelling was horrendous. And when recently my mum gave me some of my primary school books that were still around home, and you look back and there's hardly anything in these books. So I sort of wonder, how did I get through school with nothing in my books when the teachers were there?
Yes,
but
great.
This is the thing that you had, everyone looked out for each other in those days, and you become, I guess it's street smarts, you can be very streetwise, so you knew how to get through things. So I grew up with other guys like this where you become smart around, I guess, covering that up. But as I developed through school, I become smart around, I was happy to stand up in class and do public speaking. I was happy to be a leader of groups. I was happy to take a lead role in certain areas. But if it come to actual reading and writing, I guess I would hand that to someone else in the class, whereas other people didn't like standing up and talking. I used that sort of as my strength.
Right. Well, that was pretty smart, of course, because it takes the focus off that embarrassment, I suppose, of struggling with that reading and writing aspect, when you can just put yourself in another platform to be able to shine in that different way. So you're a major in the New Zealand Army, do I understand that correctly?
Yes, I am, yeah.
Okay.
So I'm a medical officer, so I fall under the branch of a specialist officer. So I actually joined the Army quite young. I joined back in 1994, and I went into catering. I was a steward in the Army. They don't have stewards anymore, so we used to work at the sergeant's mess and the officer's mess, and dressed up in our white shirts and our flash jackets and our cummerbunds and our bow ties, and serving the commanders morning tea and their lunch and their dinner, and doing cocktail service and good on cookery with flambe and things. Man, it was awesome.
Oh, it sounds fabulous.
So being out the front, yeah, that was good. And then I guess I always wanted to be a physical trainer in the Army, and it was about 97 I did the physical trainer selection, and it was a weird one. And now that I look back, it was probably through what I had going on with these learning challenges. I didn't actually get selected, even though I was one of the fittest on the course, but some of my work had let me down. So I sort of decided, well, if they didn't want me, I'll do this different. So I stuck around for another couple of years, finished my catering quals, but I actually left and went to Otago University to do the phys ed degree.
Okay.
And then, long story short, and then I sort of spent many years, I actually left that and worked in professional rugby for 15 years as a strength conditioning coach. So I was the head trainer with Waikato, did my masters while I was with Waikato, assistant trainer with the Chiefs, finished my masters while I was with the Chiefs, and then I was lucky enough to get the job with Samoa, so I actually moved to Samoa, and I was head of sports science and strength and conditioning with Samoa Rugby, where I lived with my family for 4 years, and I sort of still have an ongoing relationship. And I did the World Cup in 2023, and that sort of 17-year relationship with Samoa. Won the World Series Sevens with Samoa as their trainer in 2009, 2010, and then sort of just looked at coming back to New Zealand. My dad wasn't so well with Alzheimer's, and sort of really good contacts within the military said, have you thought about coming back? And then with what I'd done in the professional sport world and my academic study, I could come straight across as what they call a specialist officer. So coming to the human performance cell, quite a specialised cell. It's only small. At one stage it was 4 of us. Then it did drop down to 2. And that's where I did my PhD in the human performance cell, looking at sleep and recovery in defence. And then as of about a year ago, I've sort of moved sideways just through the work, and I'm now the officer commanding physical performance. So the physical performance squadron for the New Zealand Defence Force, that incorporates Army, Air Force and Navy physical trainers and all the gyms in the country. So from Devonport right down to Burnham, that's my command. So I've got all the gyms to look after, and they sort of, I command them and all the PGIs in the country.
Gracious me, that's quite an impressive portfolio right there, isn't it? So
I love a challenge.
Yeah, indeed. So your dyslexia hasn't really held you back as far as your PhD and your masters and everything else like that is concerned. How have you managed to overcome that and get those qualifications in spite of having dyslexia?
Yeah. Look, I guess if I take a little step back, I can still remember the day, and I was talking to someone about this recently. So when I started at Otago University, I was really keen to learn, and by then I knew I could learn, and I had this thirst and this knowledge to learn. I guess I was still learning how to, though. So It was by total fluke. I look back. One of my lecturers I was doing the phys ed degree, was actually in a local triathlon club. Anne-Marie Jutel, Professor Jutel, I think she is now. And I got to know her already in the first couple of weeks of uni at a few training days with the triathlon club. I'd written my first assignment. She marked it after class. She actually said, "Oh, Dave, can we just have a chat after class?" And I'm like, "Yep." We chatted, and she said to me, "You've got some great ideas in there, but you don't even know how to write an essay, do you?" And I was like, "No, haven't I written an essay?" She was like, "No, you've just written pages of information." I was like, "Oh." She said, "You got great stuff there, but you need to learn how to do this properly." And sort of went to sort of adult support learning at Otago, learned to write an essay, and I was like, "Holy smoke, is this how you do it?" You know, and this is the thing. I got through school without ever writing a proper essay.
Far out.
So once I learned the structure of writing an essay, I've never forgotten it to this day. And then I managed to get, a lot of hard work getting through my degree. And then I guess the Masters and the PhD, it's because you have time to study, and that's my strength. If it's book work or classwork, you've got deadlines and you're doing an assessment here and there on the spot. Whereas the research side of it, I've got time to go away, work on it. I can sit up as late as I needed at night to read articles, and you just do things like that and find ways that work for me. I mean, it was a challenge because, you're doing research and you've got to read a research article. Probably, I'm not sure, a normal person or a normal researcher would read one article, write their notes, carry on. I might have to read that article 3, 4, 5, 6 times just to take it in. So that I had to plan this really, really well. So finding things that worked for me. Another thing I found was when I went to university, there was no use. In the end, I tried to be, a really diligent student and write all the notes off the board. Then I'd get to the end of a lecture and go, "I've got these notes, but I don't even know what they mean." I discovered I was a good listener, so I would get to class or go and talk to lecturers and try and get the notes printed before class. Or if there was no notes to be printed, I just wouldn't even bother taking notes and just write mind maps, because I knew I learned a lot better if I could sit there and listen and take it in, then immediately post-class go and sit outside and write down a few notes.
Right. Well, that's a really good strategy, isn't it? Yeah, really good strategy. And, often we undervalue the power of just listening to a presentation. I know myself, I've studied as well, and I've written screeds and screeds and screeds of notes, and I think I've actually never gone back and looked at those notes. So, once I've done the assignment or whatever, they're just there. They're just in a box somewhere. So, you're obviously a very strong advocate for dyslexia, and you're doing this fundraiser for the Dyslexia Foundation of New Zealand, which is pretty monumental. So, how did you settle on wanting to do this?
Well, I guess the Dyslexia Foundation is the one that makes sense. With neurodiverse or learning challenges, and I know there's a spectrum of it, but I'm linking with them, and they're just really, really happy to support. I guess my main driver is to help those that were in the same position as me. I had really supportive parents, some really supportive teachers, different supervisors. My wife Karen has just been outstanding. It sort of got to my PhD, and later into that she was like, "David, I can't read this stuff anymore because I don't even understand it. I can proofread it, but I'm not sure what's right and what's wrong." So that was a pretty cool step to get to. He goes, "Oh, okay." So she might do spell checks for me. You can do a spell check on a computer, but it's making sure that everything's in sequence.
Absolutely.
And that sort of thing. But it was just, I have a drive to help those, to let them know that, hey, you might, and this is the thing, we go through school and we're told, well, you should be achieving this by this level and this by this level, and if you don't achieve this by this level, you're no good or you're never going to make it. It's like, well, who decided this?
Well, that's right.
Some days I just actually think, that's rubbish, because I could do this a couple of years ahead of that, but I couldn't do this. Well, at the end of the day, what does that matter?
Yes.
The other thing with the learning is just, what I'm really trying to advocate is that we all learn differently. We just simply learn differently. And you know what? It's okay. Who cares?
Absolutely right. And
maybe this has come from my years of racing and training, where we all train different. We have different coaches, different environments. But you get to race day, you get on the line, and it comes down to it, and you're sprinting to a finish line of someone you might rate yourself higher or lower than, but it's so close on the day, and that's I guess I put it into that context as well.
All right. Wow. So you're taking on the Ocean 7 Challenge. So I have never heard of the Ocean 7 Challenge before. Can you tell us what it is, please?
Yes, I can. So the Ocean 7 is pretty much, it's a world circuit series or challenge, and it is the 7 toughest ocean swims in the world.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just before I get to that, so with the Foveaux Strait, the Foveaux Strait's not actually part of it, but the Foveaux Strait is, I guess it's part of the penultimate conclusion for me in New Zealand. So complete the Foveaux Strait and I will have completed the New Zealand Triple Crown, which is the length of Lake Taupo, the Cook Strait and the Foveaux Strait. And there's only about 12 people done that.
Oh my goodness me. Yeah.
So, then move on. So the Cook Strait's part of it, so I've done one. So the Ocean 7, and it is challenging because it's all ocean swimming, but some are warm ocean, some are cold ocean. So you've got the Cook Strait, the English Channel, England to France, the Northern Channel, which is Ireland to Scotland, the Tsugi Strait, which is Japan mainland to Hokkaido, the Malachi Channel, right through from the big island to Oahu, 40 kilometres. Then you've got the Catalina Strait from Catalina Island to San Francisco, cold water and lots of sharks. And then you've also got the Gibraltar, Strait of Gibraltar at the mouth of the Gibraltar. So you're pretty much swimming from Europe to Africa. So
right.
That's the 7. So
gracious me.
That's the ultimate aim. And I'm trying to use this as a platform to raise awareness.
Yes.
For dyslexia, fundraise for them, and I'm really trying to get a couple of sponsors on board as well that I could help advocate with them, but also use what I've done with my research to maybe put back to their businesses. Because it's not the cheapest.
Oh, I would imagine it would be not. So I'm just thinking I couldn't even put a toe in the water of the Foveaux Strait, let alone actually get in there and swim it. So I imagine just the expense of getting down there for a start would be huge, let alone to have your support team round and everything it takes to bring an event like this together.
Yeah, no, it's worth it. I've got some great supporters, some great people who help me. And I've got people on my crew who are just excited to be on the crew.
Oh, yeah.
And I love that, because it's like, holy heck, yeah, of course I'll come down and help you. It's just...
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah. And it's... What I'm trying to do is, so with... Obviously, I'll use it as... The platform I'm swimming off, Dr. Dave Swims. So hence, that's been quite deliberate in that I have a doctorate. I'm a doctor, but being a dyslexic, I never thought I'd have that. So that's the story I'm trying to tell.
Absolutely.
And with that being... a sleep specialist, I do a lot of sleep presenting from my PhD is, I can offer this back to businesses, organisations, which I do for Defence, which I do elsewhere, that, could you help me out and I help you out as well?
Absolutely, that sounds amazing. So how can individuals or organisations contribute to be part of your journey?
Well, if you can get on to Give a Little, so there's a Give a Little page.
A Give a Little page? Great.
Yep. And that's Dr. Dave Swims.
Mm-hmm.
So that should come up, or Dr. Dave Swims, Foveaux Strait Swim, that will come up. If you're interested in learning a little bit more, I have I have a website, so drdaveswims.org.nz.
Mm-hmm.
And then also I have a Dr. Dave Swims Facebook page where I'm dropping a lot of information leading up to it, and that's Dr. Dave Swims on Facebook. So on that, I'm talking about dyslexia. I'm talking about, why I do things with the swimming, getting lots of different questions. A basic question for a start, that when you ocean swim, it's your togs, it's your goggle and your cap. That's it. No
yes.
wetsuit, no support. That's how you swim. And people are really surprised to hear that. And it's like, oh, you don't wear a wetsuit. It's like, no. International open water swimming, your togs, your cap and your wetsuit. You can put a bit of grease on, but that's it.
Oh, no wetsuit?
No.
Oh, gracious. That's frightening. Yep. Yeah. So are you able to donate through that website of yours or any of these platforms, or is
yes,
it
through the Give a Little page, yes.
Oh, just you go to the Give a Little page. Okay.
Give a Little page, or go to the Facebook page and it'll guide you there. All the links are there here.
Oh, that's amazing. That's really cool. So what's involved in just getting down to Foveaux Strait?
Well, I'm based in Blenheim. I work out of Wellington a little bit for my work, so I'm backwards and forwards, but we're going to to get down there, gosh, we have to fly, me and my wife, when we're flying down there, so I get down there pretty fresh, but we have to fly to Invercargill via Auckland with the way things go these days.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's not cheap. Had great support, obviously, from Defence, so we'll be setting up at the Army Hall in Invercargill.
Uh-huh.
So I'll be based out of there, and then just heading down on the morning, and obviously I've got my boat, Rui Bull, who's a cray fisherman down there. His big boat will be the sort of the mothership, and then Oreti Surf Club will provide an IRB that will sort of be like a safety boat and ferry my food and hydration to me all day.
That's really cool.
I mean, there's costs to be covered, but I try to cover some of that. We'll use a little bit to cover the key things, but then, the rest definitely goes to helping those in need at a grassroots level as well. That's the key thing that I'm trying to push here, is that, I've partnered with Dyslexia Foundation. They've been really supportive. But, if I'm brutally honest on it, and I talked about this with Dyslexia NZ, is, I could give them all my money, or whatever we fundraise, and, they'll get speakers in from America or help, but that'll go to Auckland, Wellington and Christchurch sort of thing.
Absolutely.
What about the small towns
That's
like
right.
the Foveaux Strait, like
That's
Tuakura,
right.
where I'm from, like
Yep.
Blenheim, like Tikawiti, like Springs Junction? What about those kids in schools that
That's
slip through the
dead right.
cracks?
Exactly
So,
right. Mm-hmm.
I'll guarantee to people that money that will get to them. And I mean, off my Cook Strait swim, we donated some money to Marlborough Boys High, where it paid for a Learning Achievement Award, first time ever, inaugural now, that's in place, and I paid for reader recorders for boys that needed them.
Oh,
We're also doing the same thing with Tuakura High School, my old high school. That was the
Fantastic.
first time, but then I'll sort of branch out from there to those that need it.
that is amazing. Thank you so much. So, Dr. Dave, just before we wrap up here, can you just go over the details of when your swim is, please?
I can, no worries. So my Foveaux Strait swim I'm saying it's targeted for the 7th of Feb, Friday the 7th of Feb. At the moment, that's the best tide. However, there is a window from the 5th to the 8th, because I have to be available to swim either side of that date, weather dependent. So this is always weather dependent. You have a window.
Of course.
The window is the 5th to the 8th. The target day is the 7th.
Okay, that's awesome. Yep.
There will be, if you check out, like I said, my Facebook page, Dr. Dave Swims. There will be a lot of sort of social media stuff coming out on the day that I'll have a media support guy as well as my daughter. We're doing things, the same name, Dr. Dave Swims on Instagram. So we'll put the link up for the GPS tracker. We'll put lots of information there. On that Facebook page, there's already lots of cool stuff there around the process to do this with my ice bath, my nutrition, why I do things, how I do things, everything like that.
That sounds pretty inspiring. What a great you read. I'm going to be certainly following you when I finish here anyway, so that's really cool. Yeah. Listeners, thank you so much for joining us today, Dr. Dave, and really very cool to hear your incredible story and understand your determination, your resilience and dedication to raising awareness for dyslexia are truly inspiring. So every donation out there, listeners, helps fuel this incredible journey. You've heard what is required to do something like this, so let's get in behind and get some support, A, for Dr. Dave, and B, for providing resources for dyslexia. So that is very cool. If you have any feedback, we'd love to hear it. So please feel free to share your thoughts either with Dr. Dave or myself, which is email me at dyslexiaunpuzzled@gmail.com. You can also connect with me on social media, on Facebook, Dyslexia Unpuzzled, on LinkedIn and Instagram, Nikki Palamountain, Nikki, Palamountain, Pala Mountain. Thank you again, Dr. Dave, for joining us today. And thank you so much, listeners, for tuning in on Radio Hawke's Bay, 104.7 FM and 1431. If you miss part of the program or want to share it with others, we will replay it on Tuesday at 12 o'clock. So spread the word. Thanks again for listening.
This is my gift. This is who I am.
This program was produced by and first broadcast on Radio Hawke's Bay, your community access media station. Thanks to New Zealand On Air for making this type of programming possible.